Playing PS5 games on the go is going to get a whole lot easier very soon. And on top of that, it looks like Sony might be taking one of the Xbox 360's best features along with one of the Xbox Series X's to make it the ultimate console ever. Let's get into the PlayStation news. Oh, and before we jump into it, make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications set to all. So about a month ago, Dbrand was in the news because of their dark plates that they came out with pretty close to the launch of the PS5. So essentially what they were like carbon copies of the plates that come on the PS5, except they were black. They made a few small changes to the design so that they wouldn't get sued, like taking off the PlayStation logo and removing all of the PlayStation buttons from the inside texture. Even though they're still kind of there, they're just like little shapes and designs instead of being the full-on PlayStation button. Now they were selling these bad boys for pretty close to a year. I actually got a set and they were really cool, and then Sony actually turned around just a little over a month ago and sued them because basically what happened is that Sony went ahead and patented the design of the faceplates. Now the reason that Dbrand was so confident in their dark plates being okay to make and sell to the point where they dared Sony to sue them is because they found out that Sony didn't actually patent the PS5 plates, so that they were able to take advantage of a loophole there. But then Sony went ahead and patented the plates about a month ago. They sued Dbrand, so Dbrand turned around and made their own new design of the plates that has like a fan hole in it, and they're more flush with the middle portion of the console. Now for me personally, the old design was much better. I think it looks great and it fits in my TV cabinet standing up with those old plates, so that's pretty much as good as I wanted it to get. But everyone was kind of wondering at the time when Sony sued them, is Sony finally going to give us custom plates for the PS5? Because really, it seems like they're just leaving money on the table there. Skip ahead to today, and a website called OP Attack has actually found a patent filing by Sony for customizable plates for your PS5. Now this is actually something that's been teased since well before the PS5 came out. The former vice president of UX design over at Sony, Matt MacLaurin, before the PS5 was even really shown off, or at least the OS, said that this is going to be the most customizable console ever and that there will be a special edition for everyone. Here we are exactly a year later and we haven't heard anything about any special edition PS5s. But what we do have are special edition DualSenses and special edition Pulse 3D wireless headsets. We've got midnight black editions of both of those devices. So it basically begs the question, when is Sony going to give us official PS5 dark plates? Because I personally would buy another set of dark plates just to get the official version. I don't know why. I'm just that kind of person where like when I'm playing PS5, I'm looking at the TV, I see my PS5 under it, and I'm like, I wish I had the official plates on this thing, but since they don't have an official option right now, I'm mentally fine with it. But if they had an official option and I didn't have it, I think it would just frustrate me mentally just a little bit. You know what I mean? Am I OCD? Am I crazy? I'm probably crazy. But when you're talking about these customizable plates, it doesn't exactly start and end with dark plates. They could have the Cosmic Red one, or when Horizon Forbidden West comes out, they could have a Horizon Forbidden West edition, or when God of War Ragnarok comes out. You know, you get where I'm going with this. They could have a special edition plate set instead of just releasing a full-on special edition console. Because really, if you come out with a custom PS5, right, for any of these big games that I just mentioned, what are you going to change other than the plates and the DualSense, right? They don't really make all that much money on the hardware. At some points, they're even taking a loss on this hardware. So if they can like make money by selling you plates for like 50 or 60 bucks, and then take the DualSense that would have come with a collector's edition PS5 and separate it out and sell it on its own, I feel like the profit margins are better there, right? Sony's actually done a great job with their collector's editions of games going all the way back to the PS3 generation. And The Last of Us Part 2 is a recent one where I really wanted it and I just couldn't get it because it's sold out so fast. And it would be so cool to have them also release these plates, a special controller alongside these games. It just seems like a really cool thing to do, because when a Sony game drops, it has prestige. It has like a lot of hype, a lot of marketing. I know after I play a lot of Sony games, that's generally when I go and look up the collector's editions. And by that time, they're like triple the price on eBay and I never buy them. But plates, you can stock those forever, right? You can say that they're limited edition or whatever you want to do, but you could just keep stocking them as like a Last of Us Part 3 edition or Uncharted 5 or whatever you want to call it, you know? It seems like a really good idea. Also, this is like the one accessory that I don't think would be that affected by all these supply chain issues and stuff like that. So it'd be cool to have something you can go pick up and at least hold on to for when you get a PS5, even if you don't have one. But yeah, with how much Microsoft's been in the news lately, and I guess rightfully so, I see people not really talking about how well Sony has done this generation so far at including features and releasing products that fans are actually asking for. I know that right when the PS5 came out, I was immediately asking for black controllers and maybe even a black Pulse 3D headset and maybe even dark plates. And we've got 2 out of 3 3 of those options within a year. And on the software side, they have done such an incredible job just adding feature after feature that people want. The only one that I wish was there at launch was the SSD expansion ability, or whatever you want to call it, and they added that within a year. So I feel like it's not really too fair to criticize them there. So basically what they're trying to do is take a feature from the Xbox One and make it better. So back when the Xbox One came out, it basically shipped with this ability to have your games be picture in picture, or your cable streams be picture in picture. It kind of worked, it kind of didn't. It was a cool idea at first. The technology I just don't think was there at the time. But now that we have YouTube videos, Twitch streams, Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff is supported directly on the PS5, and the PS5 is actually powerful, Sony is obviously looking at that and saying, wouldn't it be cool if you could pull up your favorite Twitch streamer and have them in the bottom right corner while you're knocking off side quests in Far Cry 6? And that's exactly what it seems like they're going to add with this new patent they just filed. Now, this doesn't seem like the biggest update in the world, but it immediately got me excited because it feels like the first stepping stone to PlayStation taking one of Xbox Series X's best features, which is quick resume. So if you guys haven't heard of this before, basically what quick resume is the ability to like close games and then open up a new game and then go back to the old game and be exactly where you left off. So basically, if I was playing the Halo Infinite campaign or something like that, and then I switched over to YouTube, when I switched back to the Halo Infinite campaign, it would be like if I just put the console in rest mode while I was playing and then started it back up. Everything would be exactly how I left it. Now, I have a Series X and the feature is cool. It just doesn't exactly always work as advertised. Since every game pretty much right now has an always online connection, if you use quick resume, it basically kicks you back to the menu. The main game I used to play on my Series X before I got it on PS5 was Destiny 2, and it would always go to the same screen I was on when I closed the game and put it into quick resume state, and then it would be like, you disconnected from the internet, so we're bouncing you back to the menu. Back 4 Blood is the same situation, but where it does work well is with single player games like Psychonauts 2, or another game I played was the Kingdom Hearts collection. I remember I started up the first game and I was like, this is just too much for me right now. I'm gonna come back to this in a few weeks while it's on Game Pass, and I'll just like close it now. I came back in a few weeks and it was still in the exact same spot where I was after I had like powered off the console. I had cycled it a few times. It's a really cool feature when it works. And just this new feature is cool on its own to me because I've been playing Deathloop over the Thanksgiving break. I really sunk my teeth into that game, and there's a few confusing parts to it. So I would pause the game, even though it's online. I would go look on my phone for a tutorial on how to find the Heritage shotgun, and then Juliana would invade my game and kill me while I was looking down because you can't pause it since it's online. But if I had this new feature on my PS5 and I could just pull up that YouTube tutorial and put it in the picture-in-picture in the bottom corner of the screen, I have a much better chance of not getting killed by Juliana. You know what I mean? I don't know, but Sony's usually pretty good about patenting a feature and then having it come to the console just a few months later, so it doesn't seem like we're gonna have to wait all that long to check this out. I guess this episode of PlayStation News is gonna be all about patents because Sony has filed yet another one, and this one is tied more to game stream. So at this point, it really seems like instead of coming out with dedicated handhelds, both Sony and Microsoft are totally focused on streaming games either from your console or the cloud to your phone. I don't like that. I would prefer them just make a dedicated handheld that can run these games, and we can see it already being done with the Steam Deck. Like, you're gonna have Xbox Game Pass on that thing, so why can't Sony do it? I don't know, I'm getting off track here, but basically Sony is lagging behind just a little bit in terms of streaming games to your phone, to the point where the best way to do it is to use a DualSense with a phone clip and then clip your phone on there. You can do that with an Xbox Series X controller as well, but they also have these like backbone type controllers that are like weird shaped little squares, and then you pull them out and they basically turn into Joy-Cons that you put your phone in the middle of. Now, it seems like Sony has caught on to how well these things are selling and how much they help people actually play games on their phone that are connected to the Xbox cloud or their Xbox at home, because they've patented something that literally looks like a DualShock 4 cut in half, turned into Joy-Cons that you can put on either side of your phone. I really don't have any way to describe it other than that. It just looks like a DualShock 4 cut in half connected to your phone. And if you ask me though, just for the nostalgic value, I would prefer to have the square, circle, cross, triangle on the right side of my phone rather than the A, B, X, Y. That's just me. I like the PlayStation buttons. I like the way the DualShock 4 feels. Personally, I prefer the DualShock 4's like shape and how it fits into my hand better than the DualSense. So if this is something they're actually working on, I might have to pick it up and try it out for a video. Now, I personally have tried streaming games from xCloud to my phone multiple times, and it's never really worked all that well for me. I tried it with Psychonauts 2, it was borderline unplayable, and then I tried it with Destiny 2 just to clean out some bounties, and it didn't work. And ironically, going all the way back to the PS4, I had virtually no trouble channel on my college's terrible internet wherever I was on my campus, streaming from my PS4 back in my dorm room to my Vita. I used to like run the newspaper at my college, and when I was waiting for everyone to like clean up their articles on the page, I would play on my Vita. I would just sit there with my Vita, cleaning up bounties in Destiny, trying to get Thorn or, you know, Bad Juju or any of those guns that were popular back then, and it worked great. There was a little bit of latency, right? But, you know, it wasn't all that bad. And with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, you had to do the multiplayer all the way through. You had to level up to the point of prestiging and then get one more level to prestige. And doing that and having my TV monopolized just running through that multiplayer day in and day out, it was a huge chore. So I would just stream it to my Vita and put movies and stuff on the TV, and it worked great. So my point here is that even though this isn't a huge, heavily marketed feature from Sony, it seems like they've kind of figured out at least how to get the games from your console to your phone. I think where Microsoft definitely is going to continue to have them beat though is getting games from the cloud to your phone. I'm not totally sold on this idea. I would much prefer them to just make a PS Vita 2, but that's just me. Anyway guys, that's all the PlayStation news I have for you today, so make sure you let me know what you think of all of it down in the comments below, and remember to subscribe and set your notifications to all if you haven't already. As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.